Hello, Facebook. It's Friday for your Eastern time at 5:45. So I'm curious to see who's on Facebook Friday evening. Say hello if you're hopping on live, if you're catching the replay, hashtag replay, so I know you're there. If you have any questions, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. This is going to be a really quick one. It's been something that has been on my mind for like weeks, and it's this advice of hire fast, fire fast. And I hear it in a lot of like entrepreneur programs. So in a lot of programs, like business programs, you have the entire course. They teach you marketing, they teach you sales, they teach you whatever. And then like at the very bottom and like the last module, like a leftover module, is like a couple videos on hiring. Like I've seen it so many times because that's your natural next step. So they want to help you with that, but they give you like not enough information. So the reason hire fast, fire fast is terrible. I mean terrible advice for any online entrepreneur, any new business owner, anyone who's never hired before, is because you don't know what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. So if you hire someone and it doesn't work out, so you just automatically fire them because it just like wasn't a good fit and they didn't get your voice or whatever, like you're going to be doing a lot of hiring and firing if that's the approach you take when you don't know what you're doing. Like as entrepreneurs, we didn't go to HR school. A lot of us didn't even go to business school. We just had a passion and learned and mastered something. So we started teaching it and coaching on it. So like, we don't know anything about hiring. If you hire someone based on all the wrong reasons, if you hire someone because they're cheaper than the other options, if you hire someone even though they're not a good culture fit, if you hire someone who's not qualified, there are like a bunch of reasons on how you could hire the wrong person. But if you keep approaching, if you fire them and then use the same like strategies to hire your next person, the cycle is going to keep repeating. And I'm getting like so fired up. And on the same token, so if you hire someone, say you hire like the perfect person, they're perfect at the skills you need, they know the tools you need, they know, hey Meg, hey Carly, say hello, drop a comment if you're here so I'm not talking to myself on Friday night. But if you hire this perfect person, they're perfect culture fit, they're perfect everything, but your business doesn't have the systems, you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the leadership to really like show up and like build that long-lasting relationship. Like you have to learn how to delegate, you have to learn how to be open to like sharing parts of your business with someone else. You have to learn how to trust someone. You have like there's so many pieces that happen after you hire someone, and that's what I think no one is talking about. Everyone's just ignoring it. Like, oh, you just find them. Your main goal in hiring is to find the right person. Well, where do I look? That's all I get asked. Well, where do I look? Where do I find these people? Where are they? And it's a great question, but there's so much more to it. So much more to it. So if you have a shitty interview process, if you have a shitty application process, if you have a shitty onboarding process, like you don't onboard them onto your team correctly, they're unclear of their job description, if you're not consistently enrolling them in your vision. This is something that's been coming up for me, and I was just talking to one of my team members about it. It's like consistently enrolling in your vision, even as it's changing. So like right now, my business has been not right now, but for this summer earlier, it was in transition. So it was a learning curve for me to figure out how to share the vision when the vision is changing. But if you're not doing that, if you're not enrolling in the vision, your team members aren't going to perform. If you aren't onboarding them and training them right and teaching them what your design, like what your aesthetics is like and what how your voice is, if you just give them like a couple chances and you don't know how to critique them, and teach them, if you don't have the patience for it, like you just want this person you hire to read your mind, and like that's so if you don't know how to train them, onboard them, again, if you have a bad interview process and you go out there and you try again and you try again and you try again, like I know people who have pretty successful online businesses who have a really high turnover rate, like really high, and it's because of a lot of things, but a big factor is that there's no clarity. So like once someone's on their team, there's no clarity on what their job role is, no clear like description, there's no person like project managers to report to, like the whole like other employees, it's just like a clusterfuck. So if you're hiring someone into a clusterfuck and it doesn't work out, and you fire them and you hire someone else to come into that clusterfuck and then you fire them, it's just like gonna keep repeating over and over and over. So really the only time that I think hire fast, fire fast, it's a tongue twister, is applicable is if you're like in the corporate world and you have like your company's really established, or online, like you have an established business, you have a team already, you have systems in place, you have team members who are successfully performing within those systems, and then you hire someone and there are like certain red flags that I would say like, yeah, they're probably not the best. If that's happening, don't keep them around. Like don't keep investing your money. But 99.999% of the time, hire fast, fire fast does not apply to entrepreneurs, especially if you're brand new, especially if it's your first hire, especially if you have never taken a course or worked with a coach or mentor on developing systems in your business, on developing a like really solid interview and application process. If you've never worked with someone or been taught how to delegate, like one of my clients reaches out to me a couple times because she hired her new VA. She's like, okay, like I handed off this first project to her and it just did not go well. Like, how do I tell her that it didn't go well? Like, do I need to find someone else? Do I need to switch her job role to do something else? Like, did I hire the wrong person for this? And I was just like, whoa, slow down. There's like 1,000 steps to learn. There's 1,000 learning curves. There's 1,000 things you can do and she can do first before you get to the point of like, should I fire this person or should I move them into a different position? So let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions. And if you're watching this and you're like either nervous about hiring or you have hired a couple times and it has not worked out, and you're just like at that point where you need help, but you're nervous to hire again because it's a waste of money, or it just like didn't feel supportive when you had that person, comment, let me know. I have my boot camp. The Dream Team boot camp starts in a week and a half. There's only 6 spots available right now. And we walk you through every single step of the process. So what I've been telling people, I'm basically your Google during that time. So right now, today, if you're like, yeah, I need to hire someone, I bet the first thing you would do is go to Google and say, where do I find a VA? A good VA. And then you might say, Google, what do VAs charge? Google, what interview question, like 5 minutes before your interview, be like, what are good questions to ask in an interview? You're just going to Google all this shit. Like, how do I create a job posting? You might like post it on your Facebook page to see what other people say, other people who also don't know what they're doing. Hey, Kaylee. Oh, love you. I was just talking about you today, actually. Synchronicities. So in the boot camp, I'm your Google, the program. There's not content to go through. This isn't another course or program where you're just going to be like watching videos, doing PDFs, doing homework, and like adding all the shit to your to-do list. And you're just like, cool. Well, like now I have 1,000 things to do. Great. This is like the opposite of that. If you need a job posting template, which you will, you're going to post your job posting in week 1. Like it's a boot camp. Like that's the assignment. You'll post your job posting. You'll have a template. You'll have some like a couple short exercises to figure out what to include in it. And then you'll have templates and guidelines for how to run an interview, how to decide who to pick, how to create an application process. It's not just send me a DM if you think you'd be a good fit. Do you know how many DMs you're going to be sifting through? Like, no, we're going to set up a really solid application process. And then once you hire them, that's where the real work begins. I cannot emphasize that enough, because all I get asked is, where do I find them? Where do I find them? How much do they charge? Where do I find them? How much should I have in my budget for them? The real work comes after you hire them, and you get to work on your flexing your delegation muscles and learning a whole new kind of leadership, because leading a team is not the same as leading your clients. It's not the same as speaking from stage or leading a free community or paid community coaching group. None of that. It's a completely different type of leadership. It's a completely different type of vulnerability and trust and relationship. So it's like a whole new ballgame to learn, and that's also where the bootcamp will come in. So about 2 to 3 weeks in, probably 3 weeks in, you will have hired someone that you love, and then the remaining 3 weeks will give you resources to onboard them onto your team, to train them so that you are obsessed with them, and almost more importantly, so that they're obsessed with you. Like, this is to create a loyal team who loves you and never wants to leave. And then when you have more team members later, it's like this culture where everyone's like, I don't want to leave. Like, this is it. Like, this is my main client. This is who I want to be with. This is who I love this work. I love the mission. Like, this is the beginning of that. So we'll have a Facebook group so you can ask questions. There are times during the process where you'll ask a ton of questions, and then times where you not so much, and you're just like integrating. But like, the course itself, it's not even a course. The bootcamp, the material is not time intensive, because I know that's what a lot of people hear when I'm like, oh, join my bootcamp. And they're like, oh my gosh, if I take another course, I'm going to throw up all over you. Like, it's just not even, you're so at capacity that another program makes you want to barf. This is not another program. This is a bootcamp. This is resources to find a VA so that you can take all the shit you're learning and delegate it and not have to do it alone and get it done faster. Wouldn't it be great if you're like in a mastermind and they do an audit of your social media? They tell you all the things you need to change, all the things you need to do, all the platforms you need to be on, all the emails you need to write, all the content you need to create, all the courses that need to happen, all the tech, all the Facebook ads, all the everything. And to just like be able to do it in half the time and not look at that mountain of work and be like, fuck you. Like, this mountain of work, no, not happening. I'm just going to keep scraping by with my coaching that I have now, my clients I have now. Like, wouldn't it be great if you could just like churn stuff out so quick, because it's you and someone else getting the shit done. So we start in a week and a half. If you're at the point where you're like, I know I need to hire, comment below or send me a DM. If you're at the point where you're like, I think I need to hire, but I don't know, like, how do I know if it's the right time? How do I know who to pick? Again, comment below or send me a DM. We'll also be doing a live training in my Facebook community. If you want to join that, that's on my page, and you can request the link and I'll send you that link. But we'll be going live on Tuesday to talk about how to know when the right time to hire is, and who, like, how to delegate, what to figure. Like, I don't even know, like, I'm looking at my to-do list, I don't even know what to delegate. Join us, comment, send me a DM, ask me. You can just say, hey, I don't know if I'm ready for your bootcamp. I don't know if I'm ready to hire. Help! And I'll help you. Okay, love you guys. Happy Friday. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Yay!